sort of related. It is to do with the Middle East. The turmoil there continues as Assad's rule has now collapsed in Syria. I'm going to go back to you, Joe, because I know you've been across what's been happening there for the last 50 or so, 54 years.
Anyone is across what's happening there.
How significant is this?
Look, I think the problem is that the Middle East itself and the Arab world generally tends to rely on a strong man to hold things together. It does not. These countries were not constructed with natural borders that go along the lines of conventional tribal or religious affiliations, and you usually need to have a horrendously oppressive, dictatorial, sometimes theocratic force, in the case of Iran, which does have some sort of cultural sort of cohesion, to be able to suppress all these competing tribes. In the case of Syria, of course, you've got all these diverse religions. You've got the Kurds as well, who are in all sorts of trouble, and we should never have abandoned. The problem with what happened last time with Assad, and again, it's weird that we just sort of all forgot that the war in Syria was still going on. The only reason Assad was able to re-establish his control after ISIS took over was thanks to Putin and Iran, and they propped up his regime, and everyone else just decided to forget about it. It was Russian jets that were shooting down ISIS, and we all just sort of looked away. In the meantime, ISIS had completely wiped out who you might call the good guys. So you've got Assad, who's evil, then you've got these good pro-democracy, liberal rebels who are often students who rose up in the Arab Spring like so many other protest movements did. How are they all going, by the way? And then immediately as there's a rebellion there, the super evil guys, i.e. ISIS or Al-Qaeda, think, right, this is our chance. Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt is another one. And they completely cannibalised. And
that's what happened here, because Al-Qaeda was...
And that is exactly what happened in Syria.
So we shouldn't quite be celebrating...
That's exactly right. So suddenly... Assad becomes the lesser of two evils, and the West was completely and utterly sort of beside itself. And
it's actually really bad for Christians, what's happened.
Assad did provide more safety
religious
for Christians
freedom
than obviously ISIS was and is ever going to. And this is what I remember. There was a CIA analyst, former CIA analyst, who was talking about this stuff while it was actually going on. And he said, we can't help them. The West cannot help the rebels, the good guys in Syria, because as soon as we give them guns, the bad guys simply take them off them. And they do it because power always flows to the most extreme, because they will go to the most extreme measures to get it. So I think it sounds good that the dictator's been deposed, and Assad is not as a horrible human being, a despicable human being, but he may well be replaced by something.
The universe hates a vacuum. Let's see what happens.